usually do. Okay, so to start today, I'm going to show, we are going to come into a shape that will help us get into our breath and start assessing how we feel, like we always do. So first, lying down. Some of you are doing it already, but if not, you can take there just a moment. And then you're going to bend both your knees. You're going to place your feet wide to touch the edges of your mat, and the knees are coming towards one another. And then from there, we are going to take one hand, you pick which one you want, one hand more or less in the area of the abdomen. That means between the belly button and the rim of your pelvis, or more or less at the top of the pelvis, it can be as well. And one hand on top of the chest or the heart. Now, the idea today, when you come into that shape, is that you can feel your elbows kind of like surrendering down into the mat or the floor. So you're not holding them up so the shoulders don't tense. And you can rest the top of the chest. There, Susan is joining. You can raise the top of the chest and start inviting opening there, okay? So, hi, Susan, welcome. We are just starting. Okay, so now that you're there, the first invitation that I want to give you or to ask you to do is to start getting into your breath. So feet are wide, trying to keep the outer edges of the feet touching on the mat, even though the knees are touching each other. I'm going to go to the mat so Susan can see again the shape that we are doing to start today, Susan. So we are lying down, knees bent, feet are touching the edges of the mat, knees are coming towards one another, one hand below the belly button, one hand on top of the chest or heart center, elbows dropping. And the idea here is to start inviting Ujjayi breath. I'm going to read something, and as we start, we are working lower back and pelvis. Today, a little bit more like low back oriented. So, as you breathe and you find your breath print, notice areas where your body may be resisting a little bit of that surrendering action. And if you do find any of those, start slowly softening. It's like inviting a gradual release, dropping. It's like you have this really steady universe holding you, right? So through your feet, through the back of your pelvis and glutes, through the back body, of course, the elbows that are resting on the floor or the mat, the upper back, the shoulders, of course, the back of your skull. So everything releasing so you can get more acquainted with the breath in this very moment. Notice if your jaws are tight, maybe you can loosen a little bit there, rest the tongue in Shavasana, like one of my teachers says. And that perhaps will give you a sense of the rest of your face, or also softening. You know already, because you are professionals of this, that this is the moment when sometimes some thoughts start to show up, some emotions, some, of course, physical tension, if there is some, or discomfort, and we pay attention to all of that. So today I wanted to share just a little piece of something that I was reading in an article. And this article that I was reading had to do with a Buddhist practice that it's very common for people who study Buddhism and meditation, that it's called, the practice is called the practice of taking and sending. Taking and sending. And it has a name that it's from the Tibetan language. And the name of that practice of taking and sending is called Tonglen. Maybe you heard the word before, but it doesn't matter if you didn't. So this practice It's a really, actually, I'm going to give you a little bit of the background. So I was reading about this practice, and I was reading about behind the scenes of this practice, of how as humans, sometimes we tend to become a little too, I'm going to say, a little too oriented to all of the things that are happening to us. So let's call it easily the ego-centered mind, right? And it's a normal thing. We are not bad people. We tend to kind of like enclose ourselves in our own worlds, and in a way I'm going to say, minimize, or we make our lives kind of like if they are way smaller than what they are, right? And we forget that we are all interconnected, that everything that is happening in our lives has also a connection to the rest of the universe. So it was talking a little bit about that. So this practice of taking and sending has to do a little bit of that. So I like it very much, so I'm going to share what it means. So it says the crux of taking and sending is that you use the coming and going of your breath to exchange the good you experience in your life for the struggles that others experience in theirs. On the in-breath, you take in all the ills of the world, all the evil, all the pain, all the injustice, in the form of thick black smoke. On the out-breath, you send out everything that is good in your life in the form of silvery moonlight. You give it to everyone who struggles in life, and you feel that each of them can now rest in peace and joy, free from struggle. You make this exchange again and again, synchronizing it with your breath. So this is the practice that I'm inviting you to do today. A little bit of connecting with the universe, to remember that it's not only what is happening to us in this moment, but there's also a big community out there in the world. And the energy that we put out and the energy that we take in has a lot of effect in all of that connection. Okay, so again, on the in-breath, you take in all the ills of the world, all the evil, the pain, the injustice, in the form of thick black smoke. On the out-breath, you send out everything that is good in your life in the form of silvery moonlight. You give it to everyone who struggles in life, and you feel that each of them can now rest in peace and joy, free from struggle. You make this exchange again and again, synchronizing it with your breath. So let's give ourselves a couple more like that. And then in the same shape today, an invitation to bring palms together. You can perhaps today, because we are lying down, instead of having them in the prayer position, if you wanted, you can just place both palms on top of your heart and connect to that space to pick up your own individual intention for today's practice. And as you do that, and you visualize your mantra, your intention, your quality of practice you want to embody today, I'll chant the Om. Then, as you choose perhaps to start opening the eyes if they were closed, we are going to now bring the arms into a cactus shape. And at the same time, we are going to widen the knees so they stay now above your heels. So the feet are still staying wide, like the way we started, okay? Happy Monday, Susan, we got you, you are here. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, very simple and gentle, because we know this, is that we're going to drop the shoulders, drop the elbows, arms, like I said, they are in a goalpost shape, and we're going to do 5 windshield wipers with the legs. You don't have to go super far down because it's just the beginning. So maybe you're going halfway with the legs, right? It all depends also on how you're feeling in your lower back. But count 5 and inhale and exhale, Ujjayi breath. Today we have an opportunity to make that ocean breath intentionally taking in the pain, the ills, the injustice, and breathing out our good, loving, kindness, compassionate energy so we can send it out to whoever needs it, okay? Beautiful. And when you finish your last one, we are coming back to that neutral position. And now what I'm going to say is that we are going to bring the feet a little closer so they feel like they are more into the hip distance apart. I want you to also feel your feet grounded, okay? So Susan, you missed it, but I said that in the beginning that we are going to be working with some subtle things that support the lower back. So we are going to train our brain to understand a little bit more of the connection with our core and what's happening in the back of the pelvis as well, okay? So some things will be kind of like Hatha, what I call exercises, and then we will put them into some flow and the practice that we are doing later. So the first thing that I'm going to invite you to do is to use your hands. You're going to bring the heels of your hands to the very beginning or top of your thighs. So I'm putting my hands to show you. They are right at the top. So it feels like I'm putting them right off the hip creases, right? And the first movement that I'm going to do, keeping the pelvis neutral as it is, so you're not arching the spine or you're not rounding. We are going to play with that a little after. What I want you to do is to feel your spine long, so the waistline, right, is lengthening. We are not shortening. Those heels of the hands, they are going to be steady. They are going to push into those hip creases. And as you keep the abdomen engaged, meaning, listen carefully. So I'm guessing you can feel the back of your pelvis, right? Touching lightly down. So engaging the core here means that, like I many times say, that you want to bring the belly button more in. But I want you today to try and think of that action not being an action that makes you push the back of your pelvis down. So it's not so strong that it's pushing your pelvis down, but it is strong enough to feel like if you are bracing that low abdomen or the core into the back body. I hope you get the idea, because it takes a little bit of the brain workout to get into that place, okay? So we are not pushing hardly into the back of the pelvis, but we are toning the muscles to bring them around the area of the lower back. And then with the hands, we are going to press. So we really want to push the tops of the thighs into the bones. So this is the action for now, okay? So let's combine that pressure of the heels of the hands into the very top of your thighs, lengthening, almost like making more space, right, at the bottom of the pelvis, and at the same time, the connection with the core without pushing the pelvis down into the floor. And we are going to breathe here. And another cue that I can give you that may be helpful is that you want to feel your arms becoming straight. Okay, so if the elbows are bent, then you're not pushing enough. And if the hands are too high, close to your knees, that means that you're too high on your thighs, right? You want those heels to feel like if they are almost touching your hip bones, let's say, or hip points. Okay, let's take Ujjayi breath here. Long ocean Ujjayi breath, one more. And then release the arms to the sides and rest them. When we do that work and we start to refine it more, you will start feeling, okay, the sensations of engaging the core and the lower back, a little bit of the stretch or the demanding action that we are asking. And now, yes, I'm going to play with, you can bring your hands if you want to the top of your pelvis just to sense that space. And we are going to play with the idea of cow-cat, but only in the pelvis. So what's happening there, it's a tilting action, right? And moving back and forth. And if you touch the hip points, you will feel it right away when I say that I want you to bring the hip points forward towards your thighs and press your tailbone onto your mat. So then you're going to feel like a little curve starting to be more pronounced in your lower back, right? I hope it is. You give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't understand what I'm saying. Good, okay? And then the opposite will be that you want to bring those hip points down and away from the thighs, and the tailbone is lifting into your bottom, right? Now, this action that we're going to repeat several times that I just said, right? The hip points moving forward and back doesn't mean that you're lifting your bottom off the floor, okay? So the idea is that you always feel your tailbone moving on the mat, but we are, of course, tilting back and forth, okay? So let's play with that. So I'm in the neutral. I'm still engaging that area in the abdominal cavity without pressing the pelvis down, okay? And we inhale, we send the hip points towards the thighs. We exhale, we tuck that tailbone more in, we feel the hip points coming towards the ribs, I'm going to say. And again, inhale, hip points move towards the thighs. Exhale, hip points come towards the chest. My abdomen is engaged, okay? We're going to do 3 more. Inhale, hip points towards the thighs. Exhale, hip points towards the face. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last one. And if you're engaging that core, you're going to also feel that you are working out a little more. Good. When we return from that last one, you can release the hands or leave them on your belly or put them to the sides, release the pelvis, so no effort there of arching or rounding. Good. And we're going to keep those feet hip distance apart. And now we're going to change this a little bit. We are going to bring the shins parallel to the floor. I hope you can see it more or less, right? They are parallel. I can feel how my thigh bones are perpendicular to the floor. And now, again, I'm going to engage that. I'm sure you can feel a little bit of the arch in the lower back, right? So we don't want to make it extremely pronounced. We don't want to flatten it. So we want to keep it the way it is now because that's your natural curve, okay? But around that natural curve, I know that I'm being a little bit OCD, but around the natural curve, you want to engage those low abdominals. So again, engage the belly and the belly button down without pressing the pelvis to the floor, okay? Now the hands will come again, the same as I did before with the heels to the tops of your thighs. Beautiful. And now we are going to do like a little fight in the sense of the heels of the hands pressing the thighs forward, and the thighs, of course, answering to that with bringing them towards you. Okay, good. So they be at the base of your thighs, yes, where like the hip creases are, okay? This of course demands effort, okay? So you're gonna feel it. You need to engage that core. And now again, I'm pressing my hands into the thighs and the thighs into the hands. Let's breathe in and out. Don't overdo the arch, so use that core. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last one, I promise. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Then release the feet down. Oh man, soften the belly. Take an Ujjayi breath here. Good. Okay. Here we go. We are going to add a little bit of a different effort, but it's similar idea, okay? You may feel a little bit of the tingling or the sensations because we are working the core, okay? So again, I'm going to bring my shins parallel to the floor. Again, I'm going to engage my abdomen. I know we don't like this, but believe me, we all need it. And I'm pointing at myself because this is what really creates safety in the lower back, and it gives us power so we don't we don't mess up our lower back, okay? SI joint, etc., etc. Okay, so now from here, what I'm going to do is to change a little bit what we did with the hands. The right hand is going to go to the same place that I had before, but the left one, I'm going to take it behind my left thigh. So now we are going to train the brain into doing two different things. My right hand is going to be pressing into the thigh like we did before. My left hand is going to be pulling the leg towards me, but my leg is going to push it away. Okay, so the brain will need to work like separating things. So we're going to make it like we're going to slowly do it. But important here is that, again, we keep working that area around the belly button and grab it down or brace it into the lower back, okay, without pressing the pelvis totally down. Let's try it. Right hand pushing the thigh. Left hand trying to bring your left leg towards you, but you're pushing it away. And the core working. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Release both. Release the hands. You can sigh out if you need. Take a breath. Good. And now, I'm sorry to say, but we need to reverse it. So we are going to do it one more time, but the other side, okay? So whenever you feel ready, I know this gets a little demanding, okay? We are going to place the shins again parallel to the floor one last time, I promise. Then we change the exercise. And this time the left hand is the one that is coming to the hip crease, the heel of the hand, right? All the way down there. And then the right one is going to hold the back of your right thigh. Beautiful. Now, before I do anything else, I'm trying to engage the core. So I feel my belly button tighten it down, right, towards the back without pressing the lower back all the way down. Super. And now that I have all of that, I'm going to push with my left hand into the thigh. Of course, the thigh is resisting. And then I'm pulling my right leg, but my right leg is pushing away. Let's go. Breathe for 3. For 2, if you can, you keep your toes tucked, meaning that your feet are active. Yes, good job, guys. One more breath. And then release it. Another breath. Yay, good job. Okay. Now, for a second, I'm going to roll over the right side and sit up so I can show you what we're going to do next. Susan wasn't here when I said that we're going to use a belt. So you need to bring your belt and make it hip distance apart. So we're doing a loop that is more or less hip to hip. And we're going to use it in a second. Just have it ready. Are you okay so far? Yes, it's a different type of workout. We are waking up, I know. Okay, so for this next exercise, I'm going to be using this strap, and I'm also going to be using one block. Okay, so have a block. And for the ones who are more, yes, perfect. So for the ones who are already more or less ready with the strap, you're going to put both your feet inside and then pass the strap until it comes passing your knees, kind of like I'm going to say halfway through your thighs. Okay. Do you know that I bought this strap? Debra will know what I'm going to say, from Breathe Together Yoga, because instead of buying it in Amazon, I wanted to support the studio that I teach at, and I love it, right? So I bought it from them and I got it this week. And when I bought it, they had a purple or like kind of like reddish one. And I was like, I'm going to order that one so everybody can see it in the computer, right? And then when then like 2 days later, I get an email from someone who works in the front desk and says to me, you know, we made a mistake. We don't have that color. And I was like, damn it. I wanted it for the computer. And I paid them already and I wanted to support them. So I said, okay, send me the one you have. So this is green. It's not so visible, but whatever. Okay, so we have that strap. And I want you to sense that you can push into the strap, right? And it's not going to move or it's not going to extend, because that will be part of the workout that we are going to do. And now here's the little trick that we are going to add. So I'm going to use the flat side of the block, the skinny side of the block in between my knees. Now, this is kind of like the challenge that I want us to find first. And it is that the pushing of the block with my inner knees doesn't take from my outer thighs pushing into the strap. So you may need to organize it a little, kind of like tighten the strap a little or do something so you can feel the work in both ends, because they are both important. Knees pushing into the block and thighs pushing into the strap, okay? So if your strap after your, if you're, let's see if I can be more clear. If you're pressing into the block and the strap feels like it's loose, doesn't work. I want you to feel the strap that it's still tight, even when you are pressing into your block with your knees. Get it? This is very aligned, so it takes a little bit of like working it out, okay? Once you have it and you feel like you're doing both, I'm just making sure that I am really doing both, then we are coming onto our backs. Okay, so feel it again. Important, because we are going to work a little bit with both things. So first, what I want you to do, the feet are kind of like sitting bone distance apart. And what I want you to do first, what we are all going to do first here is to just push into your block first. So do that action and feel sensations that may show up in the lower back or in your inner legs or knees or whatever, just by pressing into that block firmly. So we are doing that and we breathe. We are engaging, we are flexing, we are doing a lot of things, but we are also creating like a widening action in the lower back muscles, okay? So that's the action that I'm doing, and my belly is still like, I'm going to say engaged without being super aggressive. Okay, now when you finish this breath, I want you to do the opposite. I want you to concentrate in pushing the strap away. I can almost feel like my block is going to fall, but push that belt away from you and also sense what happens in your lower back and breathe. Good. Okay. Now we are coming back to the first one. Press into your block and breathe. And now press into your strap and breathe. Good. Now we're going to try and do a little bit of both. I know it's a little bit of a challenge, right? Because when I feel the two things separated, it's much easier than trying to do both, but we are going to try. For me, I'm going to tighten my strap even a little more so I don't feel like my block is falling when I'm doing both, okay? So we are going to keep that. And now I want you to lengthen the waistline and feel like your sitting bones are coming towards your heels, okay? And we are going to keep the pelvis in neutral. Remember when we were doing the cow cat with the pelvis, that we went with the hip points towards the thighs and then the hip points towards the chest? I want you to find the place in between. So none of the two, okay? So it's not completely flat, it's not completely arched at all, but we want to lengthen the tailbone. Now we are going to press through the feet and keeping that pelvis in neutral, we are going to lift it up like when we go into a bridge pose. Remember, I'm not arching. That means that I'm not bringing the hip points towards my knees, or I'm not bringing the hip points towards my face, okay? So we are lengthening the back body. We are trying to keep the pelvis in neutral, and we are pushing the block with the knees and pressing into the strap. Can you do that? And then walk the shoulders down a little, like when we do the bridge pose. Yes, beautiful. And we open the chest, but in this bridge pose, we are not popping the ribs and widening the chest too much, because if not, it's going to change the position of your pelvis. Okay, and we are working with the core and the pelvis. So fire the glutes. Yes, Deborah, fire the thighs. Take that tailbone in so we don't overarch there. Take a breath. You can grab your mat if you want, like I'm doing. I'm grabbing the sides of my mat. And exhale. Then slowly come down. Put the bottom down. Take a breath. Good. And stay where you are. Just take the block out for a second, but keep the strap. Good. And extend your arms overhead. Hold opposite elbows and stretch the air behind you. Good job, guys. Now, as you do this stretch, press into your belt, right? With your thighs. Yes, Susan, good job. Tighten the belly a little and stretch the sides of the body and the elbows away from your head. Breathe. One more breath. Good. And then release the arms. Bring the knees towards your chest. Take that strap out if you can slide it. That's good. And then hug the knees in and rock a little bit. We are going to circle, right, the back of the pelvis. So take a few circles there. And then a few circles the other way. Good job. Beautiful. Okay, before I take you away from the floor, I know it's nice and it's fun. We are going to take another block again, this time without the strap. And we are going to put both feet down. This one is a little different. And that block, flat meaning that, yes, it's like the flatter side. I'm going, watch this for a second or turn the head so you can see it. I'm going to put it right on top of my left thigh, close to the knee, but not completely on my knee, because I want to put my right foot on top of the block. So it's like if I'm doing a sandwich, right foot on top of my block on top of my thigh. It's like when we do the number 4 shape, but a little more challenging. Yes, good job. I'm checking that you're doing it, guys. Good. Okay, so you look at your right leg and it's almost doing like a pigeon pose, right? It should be doing that. Susan, if you feel like your neck is like arching too much, I'm thinking in my head, maybe you want a blanket there or a pillow. I don't know. If you feel it's in my head, maybe because of the angle, the way I see it. But if you feel comfy, it's totally fine. Okay, now everybody, right foot needs to be active, like if you're pushing into the gas pedal. That's important because we want to protect the right knee. And this shape that we are taking today with the block, it's going to be more demanding than our usual number 4, okay? So take it easy. If you need to take the block out, you take it out. So the right knee is going to try and move away from your pelvis. And then if you can, you're going to bring both your knees towards your chest like I'm doing. But once you get there, try and keep sending that right knee away from you. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. If you don't want to interlace fingers behind the left thigh, this one is an easy one because it gives you more support. So this I'm going to say is like version number 1. So you use the hands behind the left thigh and you press the thigh into the hands and you press the right knee away from you. Deborah is doing the exact thing that I was going to say after. If your arms are not long enough, then you pass the belt behind and you pull from the belt, right? Exactly a way to elongate the arms. So that's perfect. And the other one could be that you don't want to hold the leg. Let's say that you want to work a little bit more of the core or you don't need, then you use the right hand to just press that right knee away from you and the left hand to hold the left thigh, let's say, okay? So what I want you to do here, now that I described it, is to breathe through the nose and to tighten that belly button around the lower back. Breathe in and out, try to soften the face. If this feels like it's extremely intense, you take maybe one breath and then you let the block go. Because it looks like nothing is going on, but adding the block, it's a big game changer for the hips. what I'm doing there is that I'm like demanding of your right hip way more, okay? Let's breathe in and out. Maybe one more. Yes, if you get tired of the breath, it's totally fine. You come down, okay? Because we are coming down in a second. Okay, then we put that left foot down. We take the block out. Good. Hug both your knees into the chest. Rock a little if you need. Excellent job, guys. Okay. And whenever you feel like, okay, I'm ready to get going, we are just going to reverse it. So now my block flat on top of my right thigh in a place where I feel that like it's not going to fall, but then I'm going to activate my left foot on top of that block. It's an active foot. I'm doing a number 4, more or less, kind of thing, or pigeon. I'm tightening my abdomen, and then I'm bringing both knees towards me. I'm going to try and push the left knee away from my chest as I hold my right thigh, or the version that you chose already that you know that works for you, okay? Breathe. The idea here is that the left side in your waist and hip, they are lengthening away from your armpit. So try and make that side long. I know that it may feel a little demanding, but believe me, maybe you will like me afterwards. Take a couple of breaths. Deborah, I didn't tell you, but I got the money. Thank you very much. So it's again in my Excel sheet, and then I tell you, okay? You have a lot to go. Okay, beautiful. Last breath here. Nice. And then release it slowly. When you take that block out, you can rock the knees again, a little bit side to side. Good. And now, yes, we're going to roll to the side whenever you feel ready. Come up. I know that we spent quite a little bit of time, but these exercises are like I said, like really kind of the jewel a little bit into how to understand, how to connect. I just wanted to say, did you feel like when we were doing those tilts, many times when, you know, I just want to say something, but you know, when we are coming into the lunges and I say we want a neutral pelvis. So maybe now like the brain has more of the sensation of like what it is when we are like tilting those hip points forward or backwards. And we want to find more of that neutrality to give space in the lower back, but both are good. I don't want you to think that what I mean is that it's bad to arch or it's bad to tack, because those movements are very important in the pelvis. We need them, right? If I'm folding, I need to do a movement where my pelvis is changing. But when we are trying to work on those muscles, we want to also give them the space so we don't fall into always arching or into always tacking, because that is not healthy, okay? In doing only one or the other. Okay, so now let's come into the tabletop. And now that we are we are going to come into the tabletop, and we are going to do a little bit of swinging forward and back. Just 3. So I can take you to the next thing. Good. And from here, we are actually going to bring our whole front down into the mat. We are going to bring the forearms in front, like for the Sphinx pose. If you want, you can interlace fingers because we are going to be here for a little bit, but it's your choice. You can also have your hands down. Good job, guys. And then before I say what we are going to say here, I want you to try and do with me. Do a little bit of a lift in your right leg, like I'm showing. I hope you can see my foot, right? So it's a little bit elevated from the mat. And then what I'm doing is an internal rotation. What do I mean by that? That the inseam of my right leg is going up a little, and then I put the leg down. Okay, so it's internally rotating. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the left. I lift my left leg, I stretch it back a little, and then I turn it in a little, and then I put it down. Okay, this is also helpful for the pelvis and the lower back. Beautiful. Now I want us to find in the brain, sense your pubic bone. Can you sense like a little bit of the pubic bone touching down? Beautiful. So press it down, but again, this is a little bit of a challenge. As we press the pubic bone down, I want us to lift the belly button towards the back body. That doesn't mean that you're lifting the pelvis, okay, off the floor. It means that you're tightening like what we were doing when we were in our backs. So again, we are doing a tightening action without being like aggressive and changing the position of the pelvis, okay? So pubic bone down, belly button in. Now we push through the elbows and we lift the chest a little. So we add the Sphinx pose there. Good job. Shoulders back, breathe here, inhale and exhale. And I'm going to use this moment that we're going to stay here for a tiny bit longer to bring the chin down towards the chest. And you're going to move the chin over to the right. So we're doing a little bit of neck here, then back again towards the center, then over to the left, back again to the center, and lifting the chin of the chest again in the Sphinx pose. Take a breath there in the Sphinx pose. Good job. Shoulders back, right? And we keep feeling that pubic bone touching. The glutes should be active and the navel is lifted, okay? And then again, I'm going to start one more. Chin down to the chest, then over to the right shoulder. Good job, guys. Don't rush it, okay? I'm just guiding. Then down to the chin again. Sorry, to the chest again. Then over to the left shoulder. Then back down. And then I'm lifting again the chin and I'm opening the chest one more time, right? A little more pronounced. Beautiful. Nice. Then we bring the torso down. I'm showing it. And we are going to put one palm on top of the other and put the forehead down. Wiggle the hips a little. Good. And then with the same actions that we did before, sorry to tell you, but we're going to keep working a little. We are going to feel again that pubic bone pressing down, but the belly button lifting almost like if I want to do like a little house for a mouse to pass underneath. So there's a little bit of a lift there from the belly button. And now the right leg that was internally rotated, can you lift it off the floor a little and keep it internally rotated, sorry. Beautiful, just that, but keep engaging navel and keep pressing the pubic bone down. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale, bring the right leg down. Beautiful, we are switching, okay? Remember that you want to feel the center of your right thigh touching your mat. Okay, so it's an internal rotation and you feel that right thigh heavy. Let's go with the left. Inhale, lift that left leg. It's internally rotated. Belly button drawing in and the pubic bone is touching down. And breathe in and out for 2. Then you bring it down. Soften there and wiggle the hips or the glutes a little bit side to side. Perfect. Okay, last one. We are going to add both legs at the same time. So we really need to engage there, okay? So pubic bone touches down. Glutes are active. Tailbone is moving in. But we are lifting that low belly up, right? Or belly button. And then both legs go up. It doesn't matter if they don't go far, okay? But internal rotation, active glutes. And lengthen your tailbone. And if you can, you push with your hands and you lift the chest a little and the head a little. Good job. Breathe. Then release it. Nice. Let's put the hands under the shoulders. Push back into a child's pose. 2 breaths here. Breathing into the low back if you need. And then from there, we are going to come back to the tabletop and move into downward facing dog. So widen the feet, tuck your toes. This down dog will be first with knees bent because we've been working on the lower back and I want to now give it a little bit of a break. So look at the hands and dial them if you need. Go up, but keep the knees bent and just with the knees bent, don't pedal yet. Just push with your hands to stretch the spine and the lower back. So knees really nicely bent. Maybe like you can see your heels more over the toes than the usual. And push, 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 make the arms steady. Feel the sides, the waist, lengthening all the way up to the hips. Remember that we want to always use the pinky side of the hands, right? To push. I mean, not that you are not using the rest, but don't forget that, because if not, you're going to sink in your upper back, and I don't want that, okay? So through the pinky side of your hands, you're activating the outer sides of your arms as well, and the upper back, bringing the front ribs a little bit in. Beautiful. Now, yes, let's start to pedal a little more. So you can walk, right? Imagine you're walking. Nice. You can stay a little longer with one leg extended and the other one no. So you feel the difference and the stretch, shin muscles. Nice. And then a little bit of a steady dog again, engaging through hands, arms, dropping the head. Good job, guys. Embracing those ribs into the heart, dropping there. Good. Bringing the feet closer to one another. We are going to inhale the right leg up. We are going to exhale and bring the right foot right inside your right thumb, meaning inside the hand or in between the hands, and then the left knee down. Good. Okay. Super. So tucking the back toes and pushing through that right foot steadily down. We are going to scissor the legs, right? So the right foot is coming towards the left knee is coming or pressing down and coming towards the right foot. And then we come up into a neutral lunge. Beautiful. So now let's bring all that we were doing before here, right? So the belly button muscles, the muscles around, they are lifting back, and we are lengthening through the lower back so we don't arch, right, in the lower back, and we are not doing the hip points pointing down or back. I mean, if any of the two, a little bit more of the hip points lifted than dropping, okay? Beautiful. Super. So we are engaging the legs a lot, which is helping with the hips and the lower back, and we are going to send the arms up overhead. And we are going to hold opposite elbows like we did when we were lying down. And as we lift the low abdomen, we also pull the elbows up. Good. Perfect. Right foot forward, Deborah. Yes. So we go together. Beautiful. Firm the hips. Inhale here. Exhale. Now we are going to inhale and send the arms up overhead. And then exhale, interlace fingers behind you. Bring the shoulder blades into one another and pull the arms back and down. So now we are engaging upper back, right? Shoulder blades towards one another and down, and lifting through the crown of the head. The belly still working, okay? That belly button moving towards the back of the pelvis. Good. Inhaling, arms up, and exhaling, down dog. Good. From down dog, we are going to come to plank. We lengthen through the heels, we tighten that belly button, and we push the floor with the hands so the upper back stays broad and the chest stays broad. Good job. Breathe here. And then push back to down dog. Good, excellent. Feet together again. We are going to switch sides. Left leg goes up. Pelvis is facing down, okay? So don't do crazy stuff with your left hip. Beautiful. Lift or tighten the belly button, push the floor so we have more space. And then we bring that left foot inside the left hand and the right knee down. Yes, and if it doesn't get there, you bring it. Beautiful. Now we push the left foot down and we pull it in, and we do the opposite with the right knee. We push it or we pull it forward. So we are scissoring there the legs and we come up. Low crescent or neutral crescent. Super. Okay, here we go. From here, I'm again tightening belly button muscles towards the back, dropping the tail, inhaling, arms up. And if you remember, you grab the opposite elbow than you did before. It's going to feel weird a little. Good job, Scott. Beautiful. Head back a little so we take the chin off the chest. Don't exaggerate it, but just a little. Don't let it drop. Beautiful. And keep lifting low abdomen, dropping the tail, pulling the elbows up. Inhaling Keep scissoring the legs, so the legs are working to help with the core and the hips and lower back, okay? Then we inhale, arms up. We exhale, we interlace fingers behind the lower back. And again, if you remember, you switch the thumb, pull the arms down, lifting the sternum. We are breathing here, good job. Then inhaling again, arms up, and exhaling to down dog. Beautiful. From down dog, take a full breath, inner thighs go back. Then we come to plank. Push through the heels. Good. Tighten the belly up. Good job, guys. Press the floor, and then we are coming all the way down. Knees, chest, and chin, or all the way down, like the way you want. Beautiful. From there, we are going to lengthen the sides, coming to a cobra. Then squeeze a paper plate in between your shoulder blades. Imagine you're doing that. Lift the sternum, drop the tail, and tighten the belly button back. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Good. Go through a child's pose, press back. Nice. And then we go back to down dog. Good. I'm going to add another sequence. Inhale your right leg up and back. Good. Again, hips facing down. Draw that low belly up. Drop the head. Bring the right knee towards your chest into a plank pose. Right foot forward in between the hands. This time it's a lunge without the left knee going down. Super. Now tighten the hips. Drop the tail. Lengthen the front of your spine. If you have a block close by and you want to use it, you can put it under the left hand. We are going to keep the hips firm and turn to the right. Good job. Tighten the inner back leg and lift it a little, right? Like that internal rotation we were doing before. Push through the left hand to open the chest a little more. Yes, good job. Then bring the right hand down. Okay, now I'm going to change this a little. So put both your hands down and look at your right foot and move it. I'm going to say, like the size of the length or the size of your foot, the same, move it one back. So you're shortening that stride, right? Perfect. And then both set of toes, you're going to turn them to your right a quarter. And you're going to bring your left hip down to the floor. Yay, good. Now, once we come into the shape, that right foot that is in front of you, you may need to move it a little bit more to the right or more to the left. So do that if you need it, okay? And now we are sitting there, push through your left heel. So that left heel, left foot is active. And then send your right arm up and make the index and the thumb fingers touch each other, like when we say, like, all good. Good. Reach up with that arm. Okay, now we are going to send the left shoulder back, push with your left hand and lift your hips. Yeah, people, good job. It's like a side plank, okay? Now bring the right arm over your head towards the top of your mat. Beautiful. And lengthen that right side. Inhale, belly button in towards the back. Good. Exhale, bring the left hip down and extend your right arm back towards the left foot. Good job. We're going to repeat that 2 more times, okay? Let's go. Push through the right foot, push through the left hand, come up and stretch the right arm overhead. Good. Exhale, bring it down. Last one, push, lift, tailbone long, belly button in, right arm overhead. Yay, now put the right hand down, turn and go back to down dog. Good. Breathe. Good job. Okay, let's do the second side. Inhaling the left leg up, belly button in, make space, bend the knee, come towards the plank. Good, left foot forward. Tighten the back leg, pushing through the heel. Lengthen the front of your spine. And we are firming the hips. I'm bringing my block for my right side so I can do the twist. Right hand, I mean, if you want it, right hand pushing into that. And then with my pelvis staying neutral, I'm turning to the left. That means that my belly, my chest, my throat are turning. Push the floor, lift yourself a little higher. Don't be afraid of dropping the left thigh a little. That will stretch the hips also. Good. And then I'm putting the left hand down. If you want, you release that block. And now what we are doing is that left foot, we are moving it backwards like one step or two, I don't know, half. And then I'm turning both set of toes to the left a quarter. Now I'm gonna give you my back so you see the other side, and the right bottom comes down, or right hip really. Good job. Super. Left arm up with the thumb and index touching. And I don't know if you can see my right arm, but I'm not doing this, right? Because that's gonna mess up my neck. So you want to send the shoulder back, you want to push firmly. So that right shoulder blade is moving into my body, into my spine, okay? Okay, let's go. We need to use core here. So you need to tighten the belly button and lengthen the tail. Push and lift. And then exhale and come back. Left arm back towards the foot in the back. Good job. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last one, when you're ready. Beautiful. I forgot that I need to finish the sequence. So one more. We go up, then left hand down, and then we go to down dog. Nice. And here, if you want, you can add a vinyasa. So come into plank. Beautiful. Lengthen the front of the body. Good. Then you come down. Super. Cobra, or you can go a little higher, but tighten the belly button, lengthen the tail. Beautiful. And then you release and go to a child's pose. Take a few breaths. Use this opportunity to sense what shows up as you slow down, to connect with the breath. And today we are also trying to connect our energy to the energy of the world. So an opportunity to connect with the pain, the challenges, as we breathe in and exhale goodness, compassion, kindness, patience, peace, joy. So we can all receive and give, right? Take and give. Two more breaths. And then today, one more time, we are going to take it into the down dog. This is short, what we are going to do, but it's part of what we've been working. And then we'll take it down onto the mat again. So feet together, down dog, push through the hands, bring the front ribs in, lengthen through the hip creases. Let's send that right leg up. This time I'm going to bend the right knee and open the hips to the left. So we play a little bit more with that pelvis changing, right position. Level the shoulders. Bring the left side of your ribs a little more into your body. You can play with that right foot, rolling a little side to side or flexing, pointing. Tighten the left leg, everyone. Make it steady. The left one, the one on the floor. It's your tree leg. And then re-extend right leg up and back and bring it forward into a lunge. Good job. Tighten again the inner legs and press the right foot down, pull the legs into one another. This time we are coming into a high crescent, but the back knee, I want it bent. Look, I'm pronouncing or making it more, more pronounced, my bend in the back. Why? Because today I want us to work more in the neutrality of the pelvis. So bend that back knee, which will pull a little bit more from the hip flexor. I know. Firm the hips, inhale the arms up. Catch your left wrist, pull. Tighten that belly button and bring the left side over to the right. Breathe here. Good job. Back to center. Touch down, down dog. Super. Breathe here. Tighten the inner thighs and then back, Susan. Good. Feet together. Lift the heels over the toes. Good. Push the hips up and back. Nice job. And now send the left leg up and back, everyone. Super. Now, stay there for a second. The right leg, which is not the one in the air, it's actually the most important one, okay? So you need to tighten that one and send the inner thigh back, like when we do tree pose. Beautiful. Now bend the left knee and open the hips to the right. Good. Any amount that you can. Good job. And then after you did that opening, you reset the shoulders so they are not like kind of like crazy. Beautiful. Good job, guys. Now, tighten the belly button again and bring the ribs in because they tend to pop. Drop the head. Good. Super. Now move the left foot a little bit. Do a little bit of circling or flexing, pointing. Okay. Re-extend left leg up and back. Stay there. Don't come back. Don't come yet. Yes, Debbie. That's what I wanted, Deborah. Sorry. Tighten the thigh, the right thigh. Yes. Good job. Now bring that left foot forward into a lunge. Good, good, good. Super. Squeeze inner thighs like if you have a big pillow. Drop the hips a little there. Lengthen the spine. Bend the back knee and come up high crescent. Good. So the back knee is bent today more than the usual. So we are pulling and opening that right hip flexor. We are lifting like a little line from the low belly into the belly button, from the belly button into the chest. Good job. Super. Then we send the arms up if they are not there. And we are going to catch the right wrist and pull. And then bring it over to the left. Breathe there. Good job, guys. Squeeze those inner thighs. Drop the tail, Scott. Lift from the front, drop from the back. Nice. Back to center. Touch down, down, down. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale and bring your knees down. Yay. Rest back again. And then we slowly come up. Okay, we're moving towards the end. So let's bring the legs in front. Wiggle a little here. Good job, guys. We are going to come onto our backs. And we're going to cross right leg completely over the left one and bring the knees to the chest. If you can grab from the knees, you grab from the knees. If you can grab from the shins or the feet, you do that. And you make the knees come towards you. And in this case, if you're holding feet or shins, try and push them into your hands instead of the opposite. So feet pushing or shins pushing into your hands. Lengthen the back of your body. That means that your tailbone is trying to lengthen on your mat. Nice. Hi, Soli. Okay, then we switch. Now we put the left leg completely over and we grab either the feet, the shins, She's here because she's hungry. And she's like, Mommy, I need to eat. Okay, so knees coming towards your belly, then the feet or the shins or your knees, they are pushing into your hands instead of the opposite. And tighten the belly button again. Lengthen the back of your body. Breathing, ocean breath. Bringing good energy into you, the one that others are sending. You're also taking the bad ones from the universe and sending the good ones to others. Then we release that, both knees into the chest, and today we are going to repeat that tabletop position that we did in the very beginning of the class, arms to a cactus shape, and we're going to let both knees together, or you can always, if you want, put also even a block in between the knees. It's very useful for the lower back. You bring the legs over to the left, head to the right. Go 2 breaths on one side, and then we're going to switch it to the second side, and then we rest. Good. Debbie, I think that for you, it could be beneficial to have the block in between. You have it maybe? Oh, no, I don't see. Yes, because it stabilizes, sorry, it stabilizes the lower back. And then you take it to the other side, guys, because I don't want you to miss Shavasana. We are already almost there. Therefore, relax the face here in this last twist. And then you bring it back. And you made it. Excellent job. And you can hug the knees in or take a quick happy baby, or just set yourself into Shavasana. We are taking our last 5 minutes. Excellent. And whenever you feel like, okay, I'm ready to relax everything. This is really, you know, guys, because I say it often, but it is a very important practice in itself, Shavasana. Consolidation of the whole practice, the body learning to surrender and receive. And I'll tell you when we are done via the gong. Nice gentle breath in, releasing, softening on the way out, keeping a soft face, eyes relaxed. And making the choice to stay there a little longer or starting gentle, gradual movements to modify the shape if you want to close the journey in a different way. Palms together, wherever you are choosing to be, taking a moment to check in overall sensations, the way you feel in this moment, body, heart, mind. Gratitude for this practice to all our teachers paving the way for us to be in this journey, moving towards joy, well-being, less suffering, and kindness. We bow in. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. Let me just